Okay.
All right, race fans. So we got Chonga jabbering in the background there. That's all right. That's why we love him. He's a little bit all over the place, but that's okay. That's okay. We are supporting our high limit drivers though. You got Rico, I got the high limits on. Kind of got Husitz on in the background. Bert, what do you think? High limit guys going to take it to the World of Outlaw guys this week? What do you think?
I hope so because I have high limit drivers on my team, no World of Outlaw drivers.
Fair enough. I got a couple World of Outlaw drivers, not the top guys. I ended up picking last. I had 13th pick, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Episode number 264. I guess we'll start with this. Shout out to Impact Health Sharing. So if you are in the market for health insurance, if you pay for your own health insurance, whether you're single, a couple, a family, you're a business owner, maybe you have multiple people that you cover, and you look and you're like, man, I'm paying way too much money for crazy high deductibles, can only go to certain doctors. I might have a solution for you. It's called Impact Health Sharing. You can hit me up on Messenger. You can call me. You can text me. My number 218-969-1380. I can get you a quick, free, no obligation quote, get you all the information you need. You can look at it, come up with any questions, and I tell you what, it's been helping a lot of people throughout the country save a ton of money on health insurance so they can spend all their money on cool shit like racing and golfing and whatever it is you like other than just giving it to the insurance person. So either one of you two, did you go to, I mean, a lot of rainouts this past week. Did either one of you attend a race this past weekend?
I attended a track.
You did. All right. You went to a track. All right. Well, where'd you go? What'd you have going on this past week?
I went to Shawano. Actually, I had my granddaughter this weekend. She turned 8 on Friday, and when she comes visit Papa, we go to the races, and so we went to the races in Shawano, and it rained all the way to Shawano. My friend said, hasn't not a single drop of rain here. And it apparently it followed me all the way to the track, and then it rained, and they tried to pack it in, and then another cell came through, and looking at the radar, there's a big cell yet to come. So I mean, they had to pull the plug. I mean, it kind of sucked because 141 wasn't racing, so Shano actually had like 110 cars in attendance, and it was I was looking forward to a good show, but it wasn't meant to be.
I'm
You
not
know,
selfish like you, Bert. I'm not selfish like you. Okay. Chonga had something to say, and I'll get into that. Chonga, what do you have to say there?
I mean, Bert's been known to bring the piss poor weather with him to the track. This is nothing new. He did it like half of last year.
Yeah, for sure. And and I'm thinking maybe I had something to do with some of that too. In fact, I was driving through Iowa yesterday and I looked at them, I'm like, holy shit, Davenport races. I gotta go right through Davenport, literally a mile from the racetrack. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the Hell Tour race. No sooner do I say that, I look at the forecast, I'm like, holy shit, 100% chance of rain. How did that happen? Because it completely changed. There was no rain in the forecast early. I said I was going, all of a sudden it's gonna rain. And I'm looking at the radar, I'm talking to Tardy on the phone. He's like, yeah, there's no chance. I'm like, well, here's the deal. I'm out. I'm just gonna keep on driving. If they race, I'll watch it online like always. I'll keep on rolling. And I get 10 minutes from Davenport, and I'm looking, I'm like, boy, that looks like it's going south. Sure as shit. 5 miles to the south of Davenport, absolute downpour. Had I gone to the races, that race would have canceled for sure. Jake Tim would not have got a podium finish last night. But I'm a team player. Okay. I'm not like Bert, right? I'm not like Bert. I'm looking at it going, if I leave and they race, that's better for everybody. So I did that. You're welcome. Okay. I deserve a little pat on the back for that one right there. So let's I did actually attend a race though this past week. You ever been Bert, you ever been on alpine slides? Do you know what those are?
No.
Essentially like a water slide, but it's like a sled type apparatus that has it has like a lever that you can apply brakes or just go as fast as hell. Well, back in the 80s, Tonga's making all kinds of noise there. I don't know what he's got going on. He's got malfunctions. He's up, down, all around.
I'm just telling you,
ADHD kicking in.
I'm undefeated on alpine slides. That's all.
All right. I was gonna say you're kind of bouncing around. But my dad, well, he used to go up to Thunder Bay. Ron Jones drove for him back, I think 82, 81, 82. And I remember I was like 7, 8 years old, and they'd be talking about it. They're like, "Oh man, the Alpine slides. We stopped there on the way to Thunder Bay." I'm like, I don't know. On my trips up there, I didn't get to stop there, right? He did a lot of other shit for me, probably more than he should have, but he never brought me to the Alpine slides. Well, me and Whitney went up over Father's Day weekend here this past weekend, and did a North Shore trip, did the Alpine slides. I let her go first. I went by her like she was stopped, get to the bottom, and she's like, "Yeah, that's not for me." She's getting a little soft tongue in her old age, eating too many tomatoes, I think. I'm not sure what the deal is.
I
And
mean,
she's getting a little soft. And I'm like, "We're going to go again." And I'm like, I would have gone 2 more times. I had 2 more tickets. And she's like, "All right, I'll go again." And zipped right by her, undefeated, won both races against Whitney on the Alpine slides. It was a hell of a good time. Highly recommended. Recommend number one, getting up to Thunder City Speedway. Should have gone. She had to work. We did pass cars on the way back, including Jody Belfi. We saw him go by. And I recommend getting up there, but if you're going up there, I recommend stopping at the Alpine slides. It's if you have a group of guys or a group of people that are kind of competitive, boy, you could probably hurt yourself pretty quickly. It's pretty darn fun. So let's start with this. Not a lot of racing, right? Mother Nature kicked the shit out of everybody. Random stories, just kind of some random stuff we saw on the internet here from the past week. Um, I actually did see, we talked about this briefly last week. Ryan Newman going to be behind the wheel of a late model this weekend. 604 late model Friday night over at the I-94 Speedway, Fergus Falls, Minnesota. He's going to be racing there. Now, keep in mind, they have double features for the NLRA late models. So if you're in the area, that'd probably be a good one to get to because you get 2 late model features, not split features, none of that bullshit. 2 real late model features, so that's way better. And then he's gonna head over to Cedar Lake Speedway on Saturday. He's gonna race there too, the USRA late models. Don Shaw supplying him with a car. That's gonna be a pretty cool deal. And then I don't know if you guys saw online. Did you see the Hibbing Speedway? Chonga's nodding his head. Bert, did you see the announcement the Hibbing Speedway made?
Mm-mm.
Tuesday, July 1st, they were going to have an XR Super Series race for 10 grand to win. Well, as we know, the track's not quite where it needs to be yet, right? They got some work to do to get it good for a national event. So they changed it up. There used to be an invitational in Hibbing a long time ago, 70s, probably in the 70s, pre-Labor Day shootout, that was called the Ironman Late Model Invitational. Barry Braun bringing that back to Hibbing, 5,000 to win, and Ryan Newman is going to be in the house for that event as well. So Ryan Newman, who hasn't been racing NASCAR for a while, behind the wheel of a late model 3 nights up here in the Midwest, kind of going to be kind of a cool deal. Keep an eye on that. Bert, you mentioned something about some late model stuff too.
Yeah, well, we talked about this several weeks ago, but about um, Josh Richards doing some testing in a rocket car, and I actually this past week, a picture was posted on Facebook of him sitting in the cockpit, getting ready to do some practicing. So we'll see if he actually comes back and races in some actual races.
Well, Kid Rocket was one of the best in the business for a number of years, right? Multiple championships. I mean, he was uber talented. Let me ask you this, right? You take some time off, you lose a step, he's domesticated, it happens. Better odds. Okay, I'll let you guys each answer. A Minnesota driver winning either a World of Outlaw or Lucas Oil race in 2025, or Josh Richards winning a Lucas Oil race or World of Outlaw race in 2025.
Minnesota driver, not close.
Minnesota driver, yeah. I
The
mean,
record, which one? You thinking Dustin Sorensen? Jake Tim was pretty sporty last night.
I would say the 19 car, Dustin Sorensen.
Yeah, he seems to be progressing the most. Me and Changa used to like video game. Bert, you ever play old racing video games, sports video games, football? You guys don't have football. You're in Wisconsin, but I mean football. It's American football, not soccer. You ever play video games like PlayStation, any of that stuff growing up?
Well, I'm old, so I had the Atari 2600 playing. What was it? Pit Stop?
Yeah,
No,
I'm not that old. we're not old like you, so I'm not really sure.
Oh, sorry, Bert.
We might have had that too.
But
So
when I was a
Chong,
kid, I'd go to the arcade and I'd play all the racing games that they had at the arcade.
well, one of the coolest games, World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, right? That was a really cool game. Chonga, him and I turned some laps on that race. One particular driver that was on that race comes to mind. Little news from him this last week, Chonga.
Heck yeah, Tyler Walker back in the cockpit, right? Going to what's it, the Pennsylvania Speed Weeks this coming week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know how long he's been out of a car. No, he was really good for a while as a young guy, really good, and then he got into drugs, had a hell of a stint there, set himself backwards a long ways, and was in a really, really dark spot, but back behind the wheel.
How old a guy do you think he is at this stage in the game?
I don't think he's 40, is he? Is he late 30s maybe? I guess I'm not
He
100%
felt like,
positive.
God, I don't know. He always felt like a young guy as I was watching him grow up, but I
Right.
was young.
The old rat bag games, right? The World of Outlaws. So yeah, Tyler Walker back in action. Kid Rocket resurrecting himself. Now all we need is Chonga to resurrect himself, former Proctor Speedway Pure Stock champion there. Little Wissota teching drama. This I know it's weird. Shocker. Wissota teching drama. So I got one thing that happened. They did fix it. But I got another question for you guys. So up in Bemidji, I believe it was Pogo, is what I was told. If I'm wrong, shoot me. It happens every day. Sounds like Pogo was up in Bemidji this past weekend. Two of the top 5 drivers in the modified division DQ Dairy Queen gift certificates at the tech shed, and the reason they had no lead bolted in front of their mid plate. He's like, you got with that engine combination, you got to have the lead bolted in front. Well, turns out they had spec engines with steel heads with the cast iron heads on it. Everybody's on aluminum heads now, and you don't need to have lead up there. So they DQ'd them. It's on my race pass. DQ'd, disqualified, and I will say this: an hour or so later, hour later, they did get together. They finally figured everything out, and they're like, "My bad, that we're not disqualified." I don't expect everybody to know every rule, but if you're going to be disqualifying people, you sure the hell should know that one. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. But I got a question, a little bit of drama, and I'm not gonna get into the track or where it happened. A lot of he said, she said type shit, right? And I will say it wasn't Gondik Law Speedway, okay, because they didn't race this past weekend. But should a tech guy, whether it's a national tech guy or a local track tech guy, be able to tech in a class where they have a kid racing in?
Oof, that's debatable, right? I mean,
Well,
they got a job, but oof, boy, I mean, it seems like a conflict of interest, right? I mean, it certainly does.
Bert?
yeah, I mean, I can imagine it's not easy to find tech guys, so situations like this can come up. But like Changa said, I mean, it's definitely a conflict of interest.
I'm gonna go with in no way, shape, or form should somebody be teching in a class they have a kid in. You got to have an assistant. You got to have somebody else tech in that class, because even if they did nothing wrong, there's always the perception of favoritism. And sometimes perception of favoritism is far bigger, right, than actually favoring them, right? Same thing with the draw. How many times have we said, oh, the computerized draw, well, it's got a memory, and they could be programming it, and they're cheating, certain people draw up front. Well, that's why a lot of tracks do the redraw before at the pit meeting. They have 1 through 100 on the computer, and then they draw 1 through 100 out of a bag at the pit meeting and set a new number 1. It's not because they're saying everybody's cheating. It's because they're saying it eliminates the perception of cheating. So I'll stand by it, and I'll say that if you have a kid, if there's a track and your kid races, or dad or brother or whatever races, you can't be teching that class. You can tech every other class, just not that one. We don't need that headache, and a lot of nitpicking. We'll get into that in just a little bit, but still a lot of nitpicking going on. So let's get into our main kind of not a lot of racing, not a lot of hot topics, not a lot of drama. That happens when there's a lot of rain, right? But we'll get into our new segment here, studs, duds, and trending up. It was going to be studs, duds, and sleepers, but they're not really sleepers, just trending up. We're going to go studs, duds, and trending up, brought to you by our friend Brad Parson's Soil and Egg Solution. So if you're in Western Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, if you're in farming and you're looking, how can I make more money? Because that's the name of the game. If you're in farming, you want to make money. You need high yields to do that. Well, what gives you high yields? Well, having the right stuff in your spray packages. Well, you might feel like you have the right stuff. Hell, you might have some good stuff. But why not give Brad Parson a call at 320-219-3542? Brad's a racer himself. He's passionate about the race community. If you're listening to this, you love racing too. So why not go to somebody within the racing community that can get you the right stuff to get in your spray packages to make you more money for your racing stuff? So give Brad Parson a call. So let's start with the national scene. Guys, we're just going to lump this into one. We're not going to do national lates and sprints separately. If you feel like you need to throw both in there, that's fine. But let's go with we're going to go Bert, Changa, and then myself to back cleanup. We're going to go, I'll just let you do all three, stud, dud, and who's trending up. Bert, on the national scene, who do you got?
Okay, for stud, I'm going to go with Jason Fager. After the first week of the Hell Tour, he was leading the points. He had an eighth, a first, a 12th, a second, and a first in the first week, and then he had a second at Wilmot too on Monday.
He won week one because they have the
Yeah.
weekly points and the national, and he did win week one.
Correct. And then for duds, we have a new game out now. You guys all remember the game Where's Waldo? Well, there's a new game out now called Where's Turbo? I'm not sure if his fun tour is too fun so far this year. He's been struggling a little bit on the Hell Tour. In the first week, he didn't even break the top 5 in any of the races. He had a 9th, a 16th, a 7th, an 11th, and a 6th. He finally did break the top 5 last night at Davenport. So maybe he's coming out of hiding.
Is he gonna have to have a new fun tour? Is he gonna come out? Well, I can't compete at these tracks either with this series either. So now I'm gonna have to do something different. Are we gonna see him with Soda Challenge Series?
I was just gonna say that maybe he'll follow the Challenge Series.
Right,
next.
yeah, that'd be all right, huh?
All right, and then for trending, how can you not go with Billy Moyer Sr.? Pulled off a victory the first night in the Hell Tour, and it's probably something we really didn't expect. I mean, he's got a lot of victories in his career, but I mean, let's be honest, we don't expect to see him in victory lane too much anymore. But it was good to see him back in victory lane, and he actually didn't do too bad the rest of the week either. A 6th, a 4th, 13th, well, then a 19th. He got worse as the week went on, but it was good to see him in victory lane.
Oh, he's old, man. He's tired. He's tired. You know, he is. He did get back on top, right, Changa? He's back on top, tied with old Shannon Babb with 101 wins in the Hell Tour. So he's up there. So Changa, you can transition him right into your hot probably. But who do you have, stud, dud, and trending up on the national scene?
I mean, I'm going to go start right there where we just left off there with my stud. My stud's Billy Moyer Sr., right? He's just proved that the whole freaking Mount Rushmore of late model drivers should only have one guy on it, and it's Billy Moyer Sr. There's one guy. He's 200 and something wins ahead of anybody else that's ever played the freaking game. Okay. And, you know, he won a race this week at 103 years old, and that's freaking awesome. He did have a couple other top 10. He showed speed every night. So Billy Moyer, definitely my stud and my hero. He's both of our stepdads, so you gotta just bow down, pay some respect to that man. Okay.
He has 0 pure stock wins at the Proctor Speedway.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying. So you're better than he is. 0.
100%. But
right.
yeah, you know, I'm just kidding. You know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So there is that. You know, I didn't even. Well, I guess I did the same thing as Bert. My dud was Turbo, 0 wins, wasn't even in contention. Looked like a freaking fruitcake out there. It was no fun. It was the No Fun Tour, right? But my trending up guy was Joseph Joyner, right? Hunt the Front Joseph Joyner. He had a pair of top fours, made every feature, 4 straight top eights. Um, Made a good decision to go out on the road and try to run a whole bunch of nights in a row and try to get his program. And it looks like it's trending in the right direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I was surprised to see Joseph Joyner make the trip up there, and then he ran top 10 pretty much every night out there. He had a far better average than I expected him to have. So good to see that addition to the Hell Tour. I'm gonna go for stud. Speaking of additions to the Hell Tour, I'm gonna go with the kid Drake Troutman. A pair of wins over the past week. He won at Peoria, and then he won Monday at Wilmot as well. And then, not to mention, $100,000 payday in the modified also a couple weeks back. And no, Man Bun Dan, he's not in the fucking top 5. Okay, we're having this argument on our group chat. Oh, he's top 5. He's top 5 guy. No, he's not. Stop it. Okay, stop. All right, he's hot. He's running good. He's doing very, very good on the Hell Tour. Probably gonna. He might even get some national touring series wins, but he's not
Right.
even on the same stratosphere as Bobby Pierce, Jonathan Davenport, RTJ. It's just not. It just
No.
stop with the
And
rhetoric on that. It's not a thing. Could it be down the road? Hey, maybe. It's not right now. It's not close.
he had 2 clunkers in there though, where he finished 24th and 22nd.
Oh,
That
he got DNF. He was one of
one
one
of
of
them was a
those.
flat tire, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was in. I
Yeah,
think he was in second. I think he was in second
yeah,
when that happened. So, he has speed. The kid's
yeah.
very fast. He's talented, and he had some adversity, right? At 16 years old, I think his dad passed away, heart attack up there. So, he's dealt with some adversity as
But I
well.
mean,
So
he's definitely put that G.R. Smith ride. I mean, nobody would stay in that ride for longer than like 2 months.
And he
And
hasn't even been in a fist fight with him yet, so that's pretty good.
but so he's bringing some prominence to that team.
He is. He is. It's good to see. We need more. We need more high caliber drivers in dirt late models. There's like 4 or 5. There's another 5 that are pretty good. Him to the mix would be good. Changa.
You know what else is really interesting about it is he's over 70 late model races already this year. Their goal is to run 150 late model races this year. So hey, how are you going to get better? Go race, right? And they are freaking working their tails off. You don't run 150 races without working your tails off, right?
1000%. And that's good to see. We need that. The sport needs more top tier drivers. Dud, I had Turbo on there as well, on the No Fun Tour, but I'm gonna go with the old Jim Chisholm, Joe Chisholm saga and the USMTS modifieds right now. Not much brotherly love going on there right now. Watertown last night, Casino Speedway, Jim Chisholm bulldozed Joe twice. Did it once in the heat, once in the feature, tore the rear end out of his car, ripped the pull bar out, drive shaft, everything in the feature. I don't know. Myself, I like watching both of them, but I'm a Joe Chisholm guy above a Jim Chisholm guy. He's just more entertaining to watch. You got to remember, he's 4 years younger. Bert Chonga tells me all the time, he's not as good as Jim. He's not as good. Well, no shit. He's 18. Jim's 22, right? But I can tell you this for free: when it comes to entertainment value and who's going to rip the lip better and be more exciting to watch, it's Joe, and it's not even close. So a little bit of drama there. Gonna have to see. I know that tonight they're at Off Road Speedway. Joe must not have got his car back together because he did not go.
So was there something last night with Strickler and Joe Chisholm as well?
Well, the part of the Jim Chisholm clan down there was saying, no, no, that was Strickler that ran you over, not me, not Jim. Well, my sources tell me different. And if somebody has video that says otherwise, I'd be happy to see it. But I did watch the race. It didn't really show it on there, but from what I understand, Jim bulldozed them twice. Is kind of what I thought. But they were blaming it on Strickler. So the old French tickler there might have maybe had something to do with it. Not positive, right? I'm not sure. Trending up. How about Jake Tim? We got to give a shout out to our Minnesota boy. He's been off to a rough start. Obviously he's got the talent, right? He's won USMTS races. He's won a lot of races. Very, very talented race car driver. Rough start though to the season. Kind of looking like, boy, rethinking this. Should he be in a late model? Should he just focus on the mod? Things not going very well. He had a hell of a nice second place finish last night at the Hell Tour at Davenport. Good to see him running up front on the podium. Should we expect to see more of that from the 49?
Here's another question. Should he just fall off of a national tour and just go run that Hell Tour and more of the, regional super late model things, get his feet wet, try to have a little success before you go play with the best of the best, right?
I'm going to say no, because couple reasons. If you have the budget to do it, just go do he's going to be, if he wants to down the road run the World of Outlaws, why not take the lumps, build a notebook, learn the tracks that you're going to be racing at. Also, you get that provisional money. You go to these Hell Tour races, you go to all this regional stuff, there's no tow money, there's no free pit passes, there's none of that stuff. So all the perks you get from following a tour as a driver that's maybe not quite there yet, I mean, that's a big advantage, getting a paycheck every single night and getting free wristbands and all that. Because you go to some of these Hell Tour races, they might have 40 cars, you don't make the feature. Guess what? You're getting thanks for coming. So I think that might be the thing. Let's jump into the WISSOTA late models here. WISSOTA or regional, right? I'll give some love to the Eastern Wisconsin guys there for old Bert here. But stud, dud, and trending in our regional late models, Bert.
Well, we had no late model racing in Eastern Wisconsin last week, so I didn't do any late models, local late models.
That's all right. So all the WISSOTA guys, Bert's basically saying, piss off, right? Because if you're not in Eastern Wisconsin, you don't give a shit. Like
No.
Paul Parker ran some Hell Tour races. He's an Eastern Wisconsin guy. Bert don't like Paul Parker. Why?
Okay.
Why doesn't
no?
Bert, why does no stop? Bert doesn't like. You know why Bert doesn't like Paul Parker? Because Pete Parker whooped up on MJ. He's still fucking bitter. Still bitter. Pete Parker whooped up on everybody. Bert, let it go. Let it go. You can cheer for
Okay,
Paul.
I'll say my stud is Taylor Scheffler. He did make the feature in one of the Hell Tour races.
Still
And Mitch McGrath also made the feature at Wilmont in the Hell Tour features.
See, attaboy, Bert. Any duds? Did anybody head down there not make any features?
Paul Parker.
Jamie Zidar I don't think made the feature at Wilmont.
Oh, you're kind of steering clear of the 10, huh? Scared. All right.
He made the feature at Wilmont.
He did. we got to rattle your cage a little bit here. All right, Changa, who do you got? Stud, dud, and trending.
So just for perspective, this whole deal, this stud dud, this is supposed to be the last week and a half ish, right? I mean, so there wasn't a whole lot going on. My stud, I'm going with Dustin Strand. Got a second out at the River City Speedway out in Grand Forks, and then he followed up with a win in Devil's Lake. So still staying red hot. That new Longhorn is treating him pretty well, right? I mean, that thing's bolted.
Well, let's pause there, right? Because it's notable here. Bert, if you had to guess, maybe you saw this. Did you see the NLRA post online? Did you see that?
I'm not sure.
How many straight NLRA feature wins do you think Dustin Strand has currently right now?
5.
8.
Okay.
8 dating back to, I think, July of last year. His first Golden Hammer win up at the Devil's Playground, $5,000 to win. That was a big race. They had a really good car count up there. So, yeah, hey, Dustin Strand has been really good.
And I also have a trending local late model driver now. I just thought of.
All right.
Actually, from Minnesota. Cade Nelson made the trip to Eagle River yesterday and won the late model feature at Eagle River Speedway. So congratulations to him.
All right, Lil Hammer. See, there you go. Bert, you're coming around. You're getting this. You're getting this. All right, who do you...
USRA feature wins out at Eagle River.
Yes. Who do you got for dud and trending, Chunga?
I'm gonna go. My dud's in the late model is gonna be Shane Sabraski, right? This guy don't ever get to be called a dud very often, right? But his last 3 races are a 6th, a 14th, and a 12th, right? I mean, that's not. I mean, he goes to Grand Rapids last week. It's 6th against a field of cars that is not requisite of Shane Sebastian getting sixth. Okay, I mean, there's some stuff, some good drivers there, but I mean, he shouldn't get sixth anywhere, right? So yeah, he's got some work to do. The program is not where it was at the end of last year, so I'm going to put him on the board as my dud, and that'll probably light him on fire for about 5 wins in his next 8 races, and that'd be all right. Probably make the games a
Question.
little fun.
Question. So I know it's a thing on the national scene for the late models, for the Longhorn guys. They run them, what, 15 shows, throw them in the garbage, sell them to some regional guy. From what I understand, and I could be wrong, to the best of my knowledge, Shane's running the same Longhorn that he ran last year. Is that thing just flat wore out and ready to go in the scrap heap and get a new frame?
We'll never know.
That's kind of the big
We'll see
talk,
when he
right?
gets one and starts winning again, right?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe he's got a new frame coming, but to the best of my knowledge, a lot of them Longhorns, right? A lot of them guys are saying 15 shows, get rid of it, get a new frame, and I bet that thing's got to have, I don't know, what do you have last year? 50 shows? Yeah, probably 50. I mean, that thing's probably got 50, 60, 70 shows on it, plus any testing that he did. That frame might be flat wore out. So I should probably keep my mouth shut, because all the drivers are out there. Shut the fuck up. He can let him keep being slow. Car's perfectly fine, Shane. Nothing wrong with it. Run it. You're good. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Keep going. All right. Anything else there, Changa?
Well,
Yeah, got trending.
My guy that's trending up, Danny Vang, right? Went to Proctor Speedway last week, got a second, followed it up with a win in Grand Rapids. So, congratulations, Danny Vang, on a good week. Things are turning around, going in the right direction.
Absolutely. I got stud here. I'm going to go old 23, old former nemesis there in the Superstock. Traveled together with him for quite a while. Kyle Peterlin, back-to-back wins up at our old stomping grounds. Probably my favorite track, Proctor Speedway up in, I guess, Proctor. We'll call it Proctor, Minnesota. Technically Duluth. But Kyle Peterlin, back-to-back wins. And I tell you what, when money shows are on the line in that area, up in Superior, Hibbing, Proctor, Grand Rapids, the 23 car is legit fast, and he's got a ton of wins up there. So Peterlin, red hot at Proctor. Now let's see if he can start stacking wins elsewhere. Dud, I'm gonna go. Mike was talking about where's Waldo. Mike Gresseth, as far as the dud, I think he's got 2 races in. I mean, he's just been a non-factor, non-participant. I have no idea what he's got. Maybe he's domesticated. I'm not sure. I think he's domesticated. So 17, Mike Gresseth, he's our dud. Trending, Bert, did you watch or did you look at the results for the Golden Hammer NLRA late model race up at Devil's Lake?
I did not.
3rd place finisher, for the highest finishing female driver in the history of NLRA late models. If you had to guess, who would it be?
One of those shots girls.
I knew you'd guess that. Kelsey Peterlin. Or Peterson, my bad. Kelsey Peterson. So her dad, Joey Peterson, has won a shit ton of races over there. Hell of a race car driver. And then, of course, her brother, Tucker Peterson, won a ton of races. Was in the national championship race last year for the street stocks. She's been racing lightning sprints. Those things are pretty sporty. Sounds like the lap times are very similar to late model, actually. But Kelsey Peterson with a career best 3rd place finish at Devil's Lake, rookie season. Hell of a good job to her. Congratulations on that. All right, let's go modifieds here. Stud, dud, and trending, Bert.
For stud, I am going to go with a Nebraska driver, Jordan Grabowski. He finished 2nd at the Clash at the Creek. It's not a victory, but he consistently finishes in the top 5 every time he comes to 141 Speedway. I know he really, really wants to win that race bad. I've interviewed him several times in the past, and he always comes this close, but can't quite get it. But he came in 2nd again this week. Dud, I'm gonna go with Cole Zarneski. We talked a lot about him on the show, but from my research, he does not have a single win locally in the modified. I could be wrong. He may have 1 or 2, but you know, for somebody who travels as much as he does and races against, you know, the best of the best, you would think he'd have a few more wins locally. And he started on the pole in the Clash at the Creek and fell back to 15th as a final finishing position. And trending, I'm going to go with Derek Yonke. He finished 23rd in a Clash at the Creek, which may not sound like much, but he's one of those low buck racers who just shows up every week and, uh, you know, logs his laps. Last year, he won his first ever feature when he won a IMCA modified feature at Shawano Speedway. So just making the show out of, they had 63 modifieds there was quite an accomplishment for him.
For sure. So I'm watching Group Flight A qualifying at Houston's right now. 23 cars are done so far in Flight A. In this group, I'll just name off a few. You got Giovanni Selzi, Schatz, Macedo, Cole Macedo, Gravel. The top three right now, Caleb Johnson on top of the chart, Sam Henderson second, and
I
Anthony
think that
Macri third. So the point leader at Houston's right now posting quick time so far in Group A. All right, Mods Changa, what do you got? Stud, dud, and trending in the modifieds.
well, my stud of the week was an easy answer. It's Brandon Kopp. It's not close. He went to Proctor, won a small field feature, but he went up to Thunder City Speedway up there, and there was a bunch of studs there, a big car count, great atmosphere, and he put on an absolute show, right? There was a battle for the win both nights, and he found some way to get up on the cushion and rail around there, and there ain't a guy on the planet that puts on a better celebration when he wins than Brandon Kopp. So congratulations to Brandon. You are my stud of the week.
Mervyn Castle would argue otherwise, but it's close. It's close. I tell you what, Brandon Kopp. Not that he can't win on the dry, right? But
It was slick up
it
there.
was, and I look at Brandon. I'm like
Put
a
on
little
the
bit of
power.
food, right? A little food, a little cushion. He's your guy. It was technical, and he put on a show. Dave Kane and him put on a hell of a good race up there, back-to-back nights. So, great job, Brandon Kopp. We love seeing old Grizzly Adams. 3 straight wins for him. And he's one of them old school guys, Bert. You know, him and his dad, they work their tails off. They build speed. They have bought in cars, but they do a lot of their own stuff in the shop. So it's really fun seeing a guy like that win. Modifieds, the stud of the week first.
Oh, I'm still going here. I still got my dud and my trending, right?
All right, fair enough. I wanted to skip by you here because I just didn't want to give you a chance to say something dumb, but I guess we'll just all right, fair enough.
Oh, wow. Well, so I guess, if I was going to have a dud this, and it's not even just this week, it's this year, it's Joe Thomas, right? Joseph Thomas, he's got a 15th, 7th, 8th, 25th, and a 9th in his last 5 races.
He ran pretty well. What did he end up last night? I don't have it in front of me, but he
Well, he
kind of.
got 15th, and it was a USMTS race, so 15th is fine, right?
Yeah.
But 7th, 8th, 25th, 9th before that, I mean, he's just not the Joe Thomas we expect. We expect him getting podiums, right? Winning a race here and there, getting some podiums, and he has just not been hot recently. So that would be my dud of the week. And then my guy that I feel like is trending, it would be David Simpson. He's gotten into that model and he's starting to look comfortable in it, right? And not that his results are that much greater than they were earlier in the year, but he looks comfortable. He's now getting them 4ths and 5ths, but he's with the leaders and battling with them. He's passed Cole Chernosky a couple times. So David Simpson looks to be trending up to me.
Absolutely. Some 57 car took over the speed charts there. Never. Some guy from California. Yeah, some California guy.
So that one would have been on my dud list for the national.
Another California guy, the 24, just passed him up though. So we got Rico and Larson 1-2. Rico Larson sweet 1-2-4.
Rico Suave.
Jesus. All right. What do you have, Bert?
Now I forget. Go on, I forgot.
All right, my mods. I'm gonna go first career A mod win, Bryce Sword. So Bryce Sword had the 1-2 in the late model. He took 2024 off. Kind of looked like he was going to focus on farming, not race anymore. He got the itch, right? The vacated ride from Zach Johnson, because Zach made the transition back into his own late model. That left that seat open. They put Bryce Sword in it. Stacked field of cars too. So Bryce Sword getting it done up in Grand Forks. And just looking here, I got River City's results in front of me. In the modifieds, Bryce Sword, Mike Stearns, Tyler Peterson, Dustin Strand, Ward Emery. That's not a nobody feature. That's a legit top 5 finishing deal right there. So for Bryce Sword to get a win, his first of the year, I would not be surprised to see him stack a few more in there. Congratulations, Bryce Sword. My dud, the guy that got second in the race. Not that he's been terrible. He's been pretty good. But old Superman, Mike Stearns. Mike, on the front straightaway, towards the inside of the track, usually about halfway between turn 4 and turn 1, somewhere in that vicinity, usually about 25 feet inside the front straightaway, they got Victory Lane. Okay. You need to find yourself there more often. You only got 3 wins this year. A little bit surprised that you only got 3 wins. National championship contender last year. Lots of seconds, thirds, fourths, fifth. He's there, but he's just not there, if you know what I mean. And right now, I mean, there's not anybody just pulling away in the modifieds. It's still close. I mean, you got Sabraski, you got Blake Adams. They're right there in striking distance. One good weekend, and it's a 3-dog race for the national championship. So Stearns, let's get it together in that 24S. Trending, I had a couple different ones here. It's hard to put this guy as trending. I don't know if you guys saw Kenny Schrader went out to the Mountain States Mod Tour. He got an IMCA mod win out there. Ethan Braxma, okay, he got the win at the Clash of the Creek, but hard to put him as trending. 24 wins last year. But the kid to keep an eye on, Reese Solander. So he's had some speed. He's been very good throughout the season. He's had a lot of ups, lots of downs, but you can tell that he's kind of found something. He's there, and God, he just got snake bit last night. He passed Tanner Mullins for the lead. Last lap, he rolled the middle, and Tanner Mullins just carved by him on the high side and stole it from him at the end, looking for his first USMTS win. But Reese Solander, that's another one to keep an eye on in USMTS modifieds. All right, before we get into the old super stocks, what a shout out here. Fast Lane Motorsports and Powder Coating up in Ashland, Wisconsin. They build the Galloper chassis. They do custom fabricating. They do sandblasting, powder coating. They service a lot of racetracks in the area. They can get any part you need, racing related, safety equipment, tires, wheels, shocks. I mean, you name it, they can get it. The sponsor of the #1 series in Wissota Racing, the Northland Superstock Series, of course, they got a 4-night swing this week. But Fastlane Motorsports up in Ashland, Wisconsin, give Chris a call. He'll take good care of you. So stud, dud, and trending in the Superstocks. Bert, you got anything on the Superstocks?
I defer my time to you guys.
All right. Yeah, there. Quite honestly, there was not a lot of Superstock racing. But Chonga, what do you got? Stud, dud, and trending.
Oh, my stud is Cole Chernowski. Okay, guy's raced 7 races this year. He's got 6 first and a second. I mean, you can't get a whole hell of a lot better than 6 first and a second. The problem is this last weekend, actually I don't even think it was a second.
You're lying. You're lying. He
No,
got 4th.
6 first and a 4th. 6 first.
Why are you lying to our viewers?
I'm lying. 6 first and a 4th. His 4th did happen this last week, but yeah, unbelievable start to the season. If he raced that thing more, he would 100% be in national title contention. And who knows? Who knows? He might start to race it more because he's got enough good shows to do so, right? My dud is Mother Nature. Okay, right. They're just no super stock racing to be had last weekend. Just not very much of it. Okay. And then my guy trending up is Nick Lewis. He got a first and a second in his last 2 races. So Nick Lewis getting her done up in Bemidji.
The old T26 up there. I'm going to go stud. I'm going to go old ashtray. Kurt Myers. 7 wins, should be 8, but he took a nap on the last lap there at Race Lake a couple weeks ago. So he should have 8, but he has 7. Fell asleep. and that's in 16 races. So quite honestly, he should be at 50%. Out of all the races, he has a couple DNFs in there, but he has 1/5, and everything else has been on the podium. He's leading the way right now. I think he's leading the way in super stock wins. Sabraski might have one or two more than him, but Myers right now has just been on a rail. I mean, when he went to the Fast Lane Series, he got a first and a second. Quite honestly, should have won both. But Kurt Myers is a guy to watch this weekend if you're going to watch Superstock racing. Dud, your reigning champ, Dexton Cook. Not only has he been off to a slow start, he's only got a couple wins up here in Wissota country. He took the week off. I don't know if they went on vacation, if he was cuddling, I don't know what he had going on, but he wasn't in Rapids. He didn't go up to Thunder Bay. I know there was a lot of rainouts, but we're talking about the guy that, I mean, traveled probably more than anybody in Wissota Superstocks over the last 5 years, Dexton Cook. I'm starting to wonder if he's maybe a little bit discouraged because I don't see him taking a week off very often. All right, Chonga's got some reactions there. What are you watching here?
We got a battle for the lead from the street stock feature in Thunder Bay. Trey Hess lead, and he started a little bit deep. He got to the lead in number 77. I'm not even quite
Kyle
sure.
Bolt.
Okay,
Kyle
so
Bolt,
there's that Bolt.
local guy.
Bolt
Good
just drove
racer.
inside of him. They made contact. Hess is spun around in turn 1 and 2, and we got a judgment call here.
Oh boy, keep us posted. Little drama up
We're
there
gonna
at the old
listen to
Thunder
Big
City.
Trey Hess, my freaking dud too, because he hadn't won in a week and a half or 2 weeks, right? But
He's been there, just not again. Another one that's been there but not there. Dexton Cook's the same way. Seconds, thirds, fourths. Trending. I'm gonna go Dalton Carlson. So Dalton Carlson last year, Labor Day weekend, he was on the podium, I think, pretty much every night. Rapids, both nights in Hibbing, over in Bemidji. And since then, he's just been really, really good. He's in the top 3 just about every single night. He's always in the conversation. And just a guy up in the Northland. Yeah, we're used to Tristan LaBarge, and we're used to, Dylan Nelson, and we're used to some of these guys. But Dalton Carlson, between Hibbing, Grand Rapids, and Bemidji, he's a guy that you can plan on seeing in the top 3 a lot this year in that 57. All right, Midwest mods, sport mods, whatever you want to call it over in eastern Wisconsin. Bert, what do you got there on the sport mod world?
All right, sport mods. Last week, stud. I'm going to go with Coy Vlies. He raced 2 nights at 141 Speedway Clash at the Creek. First night there were 39 mods. Second night there were 43 sport mods, and finished second and fourth in his 2 features. And a couple weeks ago, I believe it was, I don't know, the gears broke in the car in front of him and took out his oil pan. So he had a bad night that night, but he's rebounded and had some top finishes this week. Dud, I'm gonna go with Bruce Belland. He's a top runner at 141 Speedway in the Sport Mod division, and his 2 features this past week, he finished 8th and 14th. I'm sure not what he expected. And then trending, Colton C. He won one of the features and finished 6th in the other one.
Well done. All right, thank you, Bert. Over in eastern Wisconsin, a little sport mod report from over there. Changa.
Well, my stud, we've given him way too much shit this year, so I'm gonna put Blake Adams as my stud this week, right? He won last night at Casino Speedway, right? First race going with his buddies and no dad, right? Goes there and wins. All right, awesome. He gave one away at Rapids last week, led it till the last corner, and I think he maybe just got a little complacent and didn't protect the bottom quite well enough, and old Mervyn Castle snuck by and stole one. But then he also, I think he won at Proctor last week as well. So 2 firsts and a second. Great week for Blake Adams. He's my stud of the week. My dud for this week, as much as I hate to say it, is coach's guy, Landon Rant, right? 15th at River City, 7th at Devil's Lake. Just not the weekend he was looking for. I mean, he's been performing better than that all year, and he just had a little bit of an off weekend. My guy that's trending up, and I don't know if this is so much of a surprise, but Paul Ripley. This guy got a second at Proctor, a 6th at Ogilvy, and a second at Princeton in his last 3 races. But now, he was kind of always starting to get good at home, but now he's traveling and reaching out and starting to travel well, right? And perform at a bunch of different tracks and, showing the maturation in the game. So I think Paul Ripley is definitely trending up.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your first one there in just a minute here. All right. Stud, I'm going to go Troy Liker. 9 wins on the year. He got 2 firsts and a second in the 3 Mountain State Mod Tour races this past week, and they had a doubleheader out at Big Sky and Billings. Then he went over to Sheridan on night 1 of Sheridan's doubleheader, got second. The feature rained out. So I don't know if they're rescheduling that. I tried to reach out to them at Sheridan. I think they're going to reach out, or I think they're going to reschedule. But 9 wins on the year right now for Troy Liker. The dud is his brother Tony Liker. Why? Because he's letting his brother whoop the shit out of him all year long, right? Tony's been the guy that won most of the races. He was kind of the guy to beat for a while, but now Troy's kind of putting his big boy pants on here, kicking his brother's ass. So I'm gonna put Tony on the not hot list because his brother's kind of putting it to him. All right, Chonga's got a report here from Thunder City. What happened?
So they sent the 77 to the back on that restart. They had
Right call?
maybe, I guess, I'm trying to do a podcast, so I didn't see it very good. They were 3 wide off of 4 for the win. And I'm AJ. Is it
AJ Keller?
Yeah, AJ Keller gets her done, drives Trey Hess, row of his own, 3 wide for the win. AJ Keller drives, I think, from 3rd to 1st to win that. I'd have to see it again here.
Another local up there. They got that AJ Keller, Kyle Bolt are both very, very good street stock drivers up there. Nice. Good racing up there at Thunder City. All right. So I got him as a dud, and I put Blake Adams as trending. Okay. I couldn't put him as hot because Troy Liker is just red hot right now. He's been really good. But 2 wins on the week. He should have had 3. Okay. I don't know if he just felt bad. He's like, you know what? I kind of like Mervyn Castle. I'm just going to Olay here off 4, let him go by and about. I'm not sure. And maybe Blake was thinking, what am I going to say in Victory Lane? My dad has had some of the most epic Victory Lane interviews in the history of racing. How do I one up him? Oh, shit, I don't. Mervyn's going to do that, right? Also, spin to win. Maybe a new nickname there for old Blake. Remember, he spun out on the parade lap at Granite, wins a feature. He spun out in the heat race last night at Casino, right? He spun out in the heat, bunched him back up, got himself into a redraw spot, which worked to his benefit because he redrew the pole and drove off into the sunset. So maybe he just needs to spin out once early in the night, results in a feature win. I'm not really spin to win, right? So Blake Adams, he's in all reality, he had a hell of a good weekend. I like to give him a little shit, but he's the one to go show car, of course. So we like to see him win. But yeah, Blake Adams, that one in Rapids though was painful because he was gone, and then he just put it in flat out conserve mode. And I promise you, Dad sat back and let him think about that and basically pointed out, yeah, we don't go into conserve mode. We don't do that, right? If you get into prevent defense in the NFL, Bert, what does that do?
Prevent you from winning.
Amen. Exactly right there. Okay. All right. Street stock cars, however you want to word it. You probably got stock car stuff out there in eastern Wisconsin, Bert. Stud, dud, and trending.
Stud, Sean Kilgore. 2 features at 141 Speedway. He didn't get a win, but he got a second in one feature and a third in the other feature. So a very good week for him. Dud, he moves from the stud to the dud from last week to this week. Benji Lacrosse, with Clash at the Creek, you expect big things from him in any division he races in. He got 2 ninth place finishes in the features, so not what he was expecting, I'm sure. And then in the I know this is a different division, but hold on. In the modified race, he finished 6th after starting in 3rd. He fell back a little bit, so not the greatest of weeks for him. And then trending. He goes from my dud to trending this week, and that's normally what happens on this show. You put somebody in the dud, and then they go off and have a good week. Luke Lemons, one of the top drivers in the IMCA stock car division, won won the feature the first night at the Clash at the Creek in the stock car division, and then finished fifth the next night.
He's a name that we hear all the time. Luke Lemons is a name we hear. All right, what do you got there, Changa? Street stock division. Obviously, you got AJ Keller in the hot list after winning tonight at the Thunder City Speedway.
We're gonna go Colton Brower on the hot list. And I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't put together any street stock stats because I totally freaking forgot. But I know I watched him win up at Thunder Bay last weekend. I don't even remember what he did the other night. But Colton Brower, he's just been winning like crazy. I know that would have been probably 4 in a row at that time when he won. And then I was gonna put Trey Hess on my dud list because he hadn't won in a couple weeks. And he just pissed one away there too on a green white checker while leading. So I'm gonna keep him there. Trending, I got nothing for you. We'll put the what was it, AJ Keller?
Put in there.
We're gonna put him on the trending.
Team Canada. All right, Team Canada. Street stocks. I'm gonna go out to the state of South Dakota. I'm gonna go Andy Rosso. He's got the old street stock there. 3 straight wins over the past 2 weeks for the 99, and he's been good. He's one of at casino. Seems like the street stocks migrate to the bottom pretty regularly. He's one of them guys that moves around on the racetrack, and he'll hustle on the high side. He'll run the bottom. He'll do a lot of different things. But Rosso getting it done. Great to see him in victory lane. I was gonna put Cole Gresseth there. He did get a win this last weekend, and he could be just another guy up there all the time. 9 wins for Gresseth. So both of them. But I want to give a special shout out to Rosso. 3 straight wins. You got the big crowd there, right, with the USMTS, and you park it in victory lane for your 3rd straight win in front of that big crowd. It feels pretty good to get her done. On the dud list, I'm gonna go with the Wolverine, Justin Vogel. Domesticated, not really sure what's going on. Late start to the season, 7 races, 0 wins. Not that he's been bad. I think he's got 4 seconds in that mix. But if I told you in the offseason, I said we're gonna get to mid-June and Justin Vogel's gonna be winless, you'd be no freaking way, right? So Vogel, again, halfway between turn 4, turn 1, about 25, 30 feet inside the front straightaway. They call that victory lane. I expect to see you there this week. They got a few races down in your neck of the woods down there. So some street stock tour races, get her done. Trending right now, the battle is back out west, right? Because remember last year, Jeremy Castro moved up to a late model. He's back into a street stock. Okay. And he ran good in the late model. Not sure what happened there, but he's back into a street stock. Well, I think he's got 3 or 4 wins in a row right now, too. 4 wins on the year for Castro, 6 for Petrov. That's bad news for Petrov that wanted to maybe be a national championship contender, because when Castro comes to the party, them two are going to split all season long. And as far as race fans go, you get out to Montana, you want to watch some street stock racing, there's some pretty good racers out there, but none better than Castro and Petrov. So going to make it very fun to watch out west. All right, grassroots. And that's everything from USRA late models to Mod 4s to Pure Stocks to Hornets to Sport Compacts to whatever. Any of them grassroots type classes. Bert, you got anything on those?
No, I do not. I defer my time.
Okay, Changa.
My stud for this week is going to be Russell Kiker Jr., right? Went to Bemidji last week and won. Got 3rd in Rapids, went to Proctor and won. Beat Anthony Jensen and Bobby Ernest there. So, Russell Kiker, my stud for the week.
I'm going to go I'll let you. Do you have a dud and do you have a trending in the grassroots?
I don't have a dud, but I do have someone that's trending. So the guy I got that's trending is Brady Fossil, right? 8 straight top 5s. I'm just trying to read my writing. I don't have my glasses here, but 2nd and a 5th last week. So he's been going in the right direction.
Did you watch a Hornet feature at Grand Rapids?
I don't remember if I did. It was a long time ago now.
Trenton Beal took a wild ride there. So I remember Beal. I don't know if that must be his dad, maybe dad or uncle, pitted for Jake Hittner.
Oh,
So same family. I'm not sure how they're all related, but he took a wild ride. Wheel came off the right rear there in 1 and 2, and he tumbled it 4 times. And sounds like he was okay. Good to hear. So stud, I'm gonna go Ashton Schwinn. Another win this week at Bemidji. 7 Mod 4 wins on the season. Right. I mean, we're used to hearing Dustin Holtquist and Dean Larson and Tyler Larson, all them names, but Ashton Schwinn, second generation racer, he's been really really fast. As far as I'm gonna go trending, I'm gonna come back to Dud trending. And I don't know if he's trending. I probably had 2 here that I could have been on the hot list, but Dustin Puffy, he got his 6th win of the year in the Pure Stock. So keep an eye on both of those 2 drivers to be in contention for national championship in their respective classes at the end of the year. The dud in the grassroots classes is Wissota Teching. I mean, what are we doing, right? I mean, why on earth are we spending so much time teching Pure Stocks and Hornets and so little time teching everything else? It makes no sense to me, right? Why are they're pulling springs and pulling brake pads and pulling this and what are we doing? Like why? Right? It's a headache for the promoter, it's a headache for the drivers. They're all like, this is bullshit. I'm kind of sick of it. I'll go play golf or go to the lake or do something. I'm not opposed to teching. That's fine. But when you're teching the grassroots classes 3 times as much as you're teching all the other classes, we got a problem, right? They're racing for $100 or $200 to win. These other classes are racing for a hell of a lot more. Tech them all at the very least. Tech them all equally and quit fucking with all the grassroots classes. All right, what do you got there?
you got looks like a Hornet winner, a young lady. I want to say Selena Olson up in
Probably Owen. Is it Owen?
Owen. Yeah, I believe so.
That there's 3 of them up there. I'm not even watching, but there's 3 Owens, and they seem to find victory lane a lot in that Hornet class up there.
And she was jacked up in Victory Lane.
That might be her first win.
Could
So
be.
I'm assuming the other 2 are brothers. I'm not really positive, but they've both found victory lane. I think it's Jesse and something. There's another Owens up there, and they found victory lane. That could be her first win. So congratulations to that young lady up at Thunder City. All right, how about a shout out here before we move in? Got a fan question, some fan stuff here, but I want to give a shout out here to East Central Sports in Rush City, Minnesota, just north of the Twin Cities, right off I-35, your #1 source for pit bikes, kids ATVs, golf carts, Toro lawnmowers, and more. I can't ever say that. Toro mowers. I always get tongue tied when I say that. Not really sure why. But East Central Sports, Mac, of course, been very passionate about racing, sponsors a lot of stuff, of course, including this show. Raced himself. Got to see him jump in the pond at Cedar Lake chasing after a tire. That was kind of cool. But they are that's your go-to. You're sick of walking around the pits. You'll need something to get around the pits. Go to East Central Sports. Give them a call, 320-358-1994, or check them out online at www.eastcentralsports.com. Mention that you heard about them here on the One to Go show. You're going to get a $100 discount on anything you purchase over there. That's East Central Sports in Rush City, Minnesota. So we talked a little bit about the Challenge Series last week, guys. Tri-State kind of coming in and taking over in western part of Wissota country. And had a fan, was kind of bantering actually back and forth with somebody. And they said, the Challenge Series just ain't really relevant. It is the #1 series as far as Wissota goes because it's their only one that they do. But their shows pay $3,000 to win, $300 to start. Hell, it costs $600-700 just to unload your car. Makes no sense to even be at it, right? And when you look at the car counts, Bert, you see what 18, 20, 21, 22 cars. They're not getting for the exclusive series of Wissota late models. They're not getting a very good following. I mean, for Wisconsin cars, you got what? Todd Frank, Gunnar Frank, Joel Bennett. There's no Cedar Lake cars, no Menominee cars, right? They're just basically you got what, 1 or 2 Hibbing cars. Not many people are following that series. Well, how do you make that happen? Well, talking to him, he says you got to pay better. obviously. Well, we get that, we understand that, but you look at all these other series, Mars, Hell Tour, right? Even the crate race in USA, they're all a minimum of $5,000 to win, 500 to start, all of them at a minimum. Well, if you're a racetrack and you're looking at it and go, well, I could do that, but if I'm still only going to get 18, 19 cars, why would I? So I do have an idea. Okay. So an exclusivity deal. So think about this. If you're a late model track out there, if you're a track that has a late model challenge series, we know this. Most tracks right now cannot afford to run late models on a weekly basis. They're the most expensive class out there. It's not close. They do not bring in enough fans to justify eating up 50% of the purse. And that's why most tracks throughout the country don't run them on a weekly basis. So would you guys agree that most tracks could afford to take late models off 3-4 times a year? That wouldn't hurt them, right? Okay. So this year, Changa, you raised your hand. What's going on over there? You got an
Oh,
update?
no. I was like,
Oh,
there
you're
was a
flinching.
string off the front of the field. I was like, ah!
I'm looking in the background there. I don't see Teresa. Usually when I see a flinching, she's going to hit you for something, but I don't see her over there.
She
All right.
hasn't hit me in a long time, so.
You deserve it, though.
I mean,
You
she's kind of abusive sometimes, but I'm tough. I can take it.
So this year, guys, on the challenge series, there's 21 shows, right? And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 7 different swings. The May 9th, 10th, 11th swing was I-94 Viking Granite. May 20, and now keep in mind that particular week, most tracks aren't even open yet. Northern part of Wissota, they're not even racing yet, right? End of May, May 29th, 30, 31, and then June 1st, they had that Western Minnesota KRA Fiesta Madison Casino. July 4th weekend, most tracks are off. There's barely anybody racing July 4th weekend. Gondik Law Speedway, they got the border battle. Then they got July 17th through the 20th. They got a 4-night swing, ABC, Gondik, Ogilvie, and Granite. Starts off with the Tanner Byhome Memorial. August 8th and 9th, they got a Red Cedar Rice Lake swing. Then Labor Day weekend. As far as late models go, there's not a lot of late model stuff going on over Labor Day weekend, right? That's Proctor, Grand Rapids, 2 nights at Hibbing, and then they got a doubleheader at the Wissota 100. So you already have that first weekend, early May. Pretty easy to be. Oh, I don't know what you got going on there, Bert. All right, early May, right? There's not a lot of tracks racing yet. So that one there's dang near exclusive already because there's nobody racing. It'd be very easy to do that. That next week though, the end of May, yeah, there's probably a few tracks running. That'd be the first one. You'd have to work with some tracks. On the July 4th weekend, pretty much already exclusive for the most part. The Labor Day swing, dang near exclusive as far as late models go, and of course, Wissota 100 is already exclusive. So what if they did this? What if they said, all right, we're going to take 4 additional weeks above and beyond those weeks throughout the year. And in Wissota country, the only Wissota late model racing going on that particular weekend is the Challenge Series. That's it. You can run all your other classes. You can do whatever you want, mod special, super stocks, Midwest mod, streets, whatever. But on these particular weekends throughout the year, the only Wissota late model racing out there is the Challenge Series. Okay. Now, let's take it one step further. If they adopted the tri-state rules, right, / Dirt Kings, whatever, they could co-sanction. If they decided they were going to go out and do a Brown County, Miller, Watertown, do a swing out there, or that Western Minnesota, they could be like, hey, let's do co-sanction with tri-state, and we'll do 1 swing or 2 swings like that. Where it's close. I mean, that wouldn't be an issue. They could do a deal up in the north part, right, up in the northwest with Grand Forks, Devil's Lake, right, Buffalo River. They could do an NLRA, maybe Ada on a Thursday. They could co-sanction with NLRA. Of course, they got to get rid of all the heavy draw fees and stuff like that. Okay. So it'd be easy to do this. It'd be very easy to do this. There'd be a little bit of semantics and probably a little bickering back and forth with a couple promoters. But again, most tracks probably be better eliminating late models for a few nights anyway. What if they took the Masters, Bert, and they had a 3-night swing at the Masters that, of course, just rained out, And what if they decided and they made the rule change to what we talked about last week, and they said that particular week, 3-night swing at Cedar Lake for the Masters? I mean, how much better would that be? I mean, you look at it, if you do that, imagine what the car counts would look like. They would have the drivers, the late models, if they wanted to race, they'd have to travel. They'd have no choice. They would have to travel. They'd have to follow the series. That would allow for sponsors to look at it and be like, hey, they're getting more cars. More cars gets more fans. You can put more money in the drivers' pockets. I mean, you could have a bigger point fund. Do you think that making a handful of weekends throughout the year exclusive challenge series weekends, do you think that's a good idea? Yes or no?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Well,
Why?
I think for the series it might be a good thing, but it's not good for the drivers who don't want to travel. They just want to race at their home track. So you're taking away nights of racing from them.
Perhaps, perhaps. But if it paid good enough, they could travel. If it paid good enough. And maybe not, I mean, if you do too many of those weekends, I can see that being a huge issue. If you're like, holy shit, we're gonna do 2 weekends a month, but most of these drivers, I mean, quite honestly, don't have enough money to be racing 4 or 5, every single weekend anyway. But I can see your point. I can see some of the drivers that don't want to travel. That's a fair statement. Um, Changa,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like up north where we are, I mean, our tracks are, you go to my area, our tracks are dependent on your Daryl Nelsons being there to even get fans, right? Your Tim McMahons, certain guys they're dependent, but I think, if you had one weekend a month, like you don't want to go multiple weekends in a row taking the hometown guys away, but if you like you said you go late April, May, June, July, August, Minnesota 100, right? You go one weekend a month. There's got to be more than one throwaway show. I feel like in the challenge series, if you're going to get people to follow it. I mean, if you're doing, you're looking at, I don't know how many races you talking. You're talking 15, 18, 20 races in the challenge series. I feel like you got to have maybe 3 throwaway shows because, hey, people have jobs, people have families. They have to be able to miss something or have some bad nights to continue to follow it.
well, that's why you have provisionals. That's why you get a couple provisionals a year. I hate the throwaway shows because it just makes it confusing. I hate the throwaway shows because you have people going, I don't like that track. Fuck it, I ain't going. Right? They throw it away that way. I hate throwaway shows myself. I'm just not for it. I mean, I don't. I guess I don't see
You
the
got
ben.
grad parties, you got weddings, you got to have a throwaway show or two.
You forget what fucking sport we're talking about here, or what? Like you kind of you confuse. We're
Once
talking
the other-
this dirt track racing.
yeah, no.
Like people don't take freaking weekends off to go to grad party and miss a race. It's just not that. That's
This
not the
isn't
world
the
we live in.
same as it was 20 years ago, right? We're in a different world nowadays. People don't
That's not though. You don't see I mean, unless it's your own kid, like Nick, right? He took off the Dirt Kings because it was his own kid. Does he have twins? Maybe I think he had 2 kids,
Yeah.
right?
I,
Yeah.
So,
really put it
but
on something.
yeah, I don't like throwaway shows. I mean, this whole if you're gonna win a championship, guess what? It takes a little sacrifice. Not like, well, here's the deal. I know you want to be the champion, but you got some stuff going on. The Packers, Jordan Love, he can't play this week because his
He took
cousin's
those
kid is
14 weeks.
graduating, so they got to take that weekend. What are we talking about, right? You don't see that in other sports. You don't other sports going, well, hey, here's the deal. Kind of busy, got some stuff going on. We're just gonna go ahead take that off because he just didn't really feel like coming this week. What are we talking about? That's not how you win a champ. You win a championship by being there every week. What are you talking about? Drive me
Tyler
nuts.
Gould and David Simpson are putting on a freaking show here in this B-Mod race.
Who? Tyler Vernon and Simpson?
Yeah, side by side for like the last 5 laps for the lead.
All right. So Bert, we established that Chonga's soft, right? He's domesticated. Like I'm gonna go I'm gonna
We're
go
just trying to
cuddle.
make it. At the end of the day, you can't have 5 guys following the series. Whatever it takes to make it
It
so you
don't
get
fucking
15
pay anything. It's financially the
in
worst
the
series in
racing
racing.
shit. In this day and age, who the fuck's gonna travel 7 hours for 5,000 to win, expecting to go there and get seventh?
If you're going for one race, if you're going for a 3-night swing, if you want to follow the
So
series.
here's the deal: the 5,000 to win, 500 to start's great, but the points fund at the end has to be great in order
For
to make
sure.
it happen.
And right now, I mean, there's no value there, right? I mean, it's what is it, 10 or 12,000 to win the points? It should be, if it's not 25,000, it's 2025. What are we doing here, right? But I
And
mean,
seventh place has to be 5,000.
what place?
Seventh place has to be $5,000.
Yeah, it's got. I would say 2,500 for 10th. Financially, it's a disaster, and it's just sickening when you see any late model special, especially if it's your exclusive one, and you got everybody and their brother racing against you. It's not good for racing, and it's not good for the fans. Bert, you're a diehard race fan. You want to see 20 cars at a race, or do you want to see 40?
Well, I'd rather see 40. But even more important than that is you want to see the best of the best
Right.
at the race.
Right. Yeah. So something's got to change, and I don't know if it ever will, but something's got to change with the Challenge Series. But that was just an idea brought forth to me. All right. Wasota Natty Trivia. Right now, we are tied. We each got one. We're in a deadlock. Bert lost last week, so Bert gets to give out the clues this week. And I do not have anything in front of me, so I don't even know what class are you going to pick, Bert?
Well, I'm going to pick your favorite class.
Super Rhino. No?
That would be
All
too
right.
easy.
All right.
This driver.
Wait a minute, what class are we doing?
Super stocks.
His favorite class. We don't know what his favorite class is. Right now, I would tell you it's probably Hornets or something.
Stay with the program there, Changa. Changa, you don't even need to pay attention to this class because I'm gonna fucking win anyway.
The best. Super stocks are the best. Stock cars are the best.
I'm gonna win anyway. So I don't even. Bert, you want to? Changa, you just want to go to the bathroom so you have an excuse here?
Well, I forgot this segment. He was.
Or wait, hold on. It's not super stocks.
Is it street stocks?
No, it's modifieds.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Wow.
Curveball already. Holy shit.
Go.
You know this, that when you give out the clues and you give out they got to be the right clue.
Yeah, we're thinking super stock guys.
Well, I was trying to do some research and it's not easy finding information. I'm gonna have to find a good source.
Right. Go right to the driver.
Huh?
Go right to the driver and just start asking them questions. Just tell them what we're doing.
When you do it a half hour before the podcast starts,
there is that. There is that. All right.
All right. This modified driver hails from Wisconsin.
Craig Thatcher.
No. This modified driver has one national championship to his name. This modified driver also raced late models during his racing career. This modified driver hails from central Wisconsin.
Troy Kuyath?
Yes.
Let's go.
1999.
Coyote.
1999.
All right. I've
never gotten that ever.
So we were down in East Bay, a little Troy Kuyath story. Kuyath was good. He had the Cobra chassis rolling, right? He was a Ford guy.
We love us Cobra Dave.
Yep, we love Cobra Dave. So we're down in East Bay. Actually, me, Buzzy was with Burback, Chris Burback, the track photographer. You know, well, there's a whole bunch of us, right? We all
You're not telling the story.
may have gone to dancing place, adult female dancing place, Bert. Little strip club action, right? And old Burback's sitting there, arms crossed, like you could tell he's just pissed. They're like, the chicks would be like, "Hey, you want a lap dance?" And, I'm get away from me. Like he was just like Debbie Dow. He's just all pissed off, right? He he was driving down the road, and you know them big orange barrels.
Oh god.
He's like getting as close as he can to him. He's like, "Oh man, I got close to that one." He got a rental car, and something happened, and he fucking teed one up. I mean, he just kabam smoked it, and that thing went flying, ripped the mirror off. I'm like, oh shit! And Burback's eyes got big, and well, G.O.A.T actually had a body shop, so um, he actually went with Burback the next day. They got a mirror, put the mirror back on the rental car. He's like, I don't have the insurance on the rental car, and they kind of buffed it out, and they put a regular mirror on where there's supposed to be a power mirror. Brought it back to the body shop. We're like, we're good. And so Kuyat kind of helped us out down there. Kind of got us out of a jam, but. He was a very, very good race car driver. He had his late model down at East Bay. I pitted for him a little bit down there. All right. So our recap here, our Pick'ems recap, guys. This past week we had a lot of rainouts, a shit ton of rainouts, but this is about the closest it's been in our standings for a long time. So I'm on top right now, 274, only 4 points ahead of Changay here. Got Changa 31 at second. Bert, you're third at 263, 1 point ahead of Coach, who is 1 point ahead of Dano. So it's tight. Then you got Rainman in sixth, 2 points ahead of Governor. Then you got Uper. When he gets done shoveling snow, he's got himself up at 231. Tardy 99 and Worker B at 227. Man Bun Dan 213. Bromance 188. Beefcake 166. But literally 13 points is all that separates the top five right now. Too tight. Bert's a two-time champ. Rainman's a two-time champ. Trying to get that over. Chong is kind of he's still you're a Minnesota guy living in Wisconsin, so if you win it, all them Wisconsin people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's still in Wisconsin," so I have to win.
Now I'd be ahead by 10 if there was none of these stinking fucking drafts.
So first of all, Bert, this week he's already crying. He's already crying, right? He's crying. So I simplified. So we did a draft for the Houston races this weekend. 20 grand to win, 100 grand to win, 20 grand to win, 250 to win, 250,000. Big week for the sprint cars. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just simplify this. We'll pick four, take the best three each night. Take the best three each night. Bert, it helps if you pick drivers that are actually there.
Yeah.
You did. I did. I don't want to mention any names. He didn't.
My second round pick was on the driver's list, and he got scared and fucking didn't go.
I texted him. I said, "Are you going?" He goes, "I'm thinking about it." I said, "Changa picked you." He's like, "No, fuck that. I'm going somewhere else."
Right? That's probably what happened.
Team player. Yeah, team player. That's what happened.
Never choose that fucker again. From now on, I hate him.
I am now a big Brent Marks fan. I might buy a fucking shirt. Chonga's 4 points ahead behind me.
So I can burn it.
Bert, we're dang close, right? All three of us. It is a benefit to us, you and I, that Brent Marks is not there. We should get a shirt, is what we should do. Thank you, Brent Marks. Thank you, Brent Marks. So I actually have. So I got Hot Sauce, Giovanni Selzy, the North Pole Nightmare, Bill Baylog, Jade Hastings, and Riley Goodnow.
I have.
Bert, I do. Bert has Tyler Courtney, Tanner Thorson, Jack Dover, Brendan Mullen. And Changa, you have Aaron Reitzel, who's been strong. Brent Marks, who is
a prick.
He's my guy. That's my new guy, Brent Marks. Proud of that guy. Sam Henderson, who qualified well tonight, and Matt Jewell. That's who you have. So the races we're picking this weekend. And go ahead, Bert. What do you got?
I was just gonna say, during our draft for my last pick, I went to Chat GPT, artificial AI, and I typed in all the remaining drivers from the drivers list in there and asked who would be the best one to pick, and that's how I came up with my Mullen pick.
Nice. We'll see.
Mullen, what's his first name?
Brandon, or
Brendan.
Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan Mullen.
Never even heard of her.
Never heard of her. No. All right. So here's what we're picking. And if you have anything, like when I mention one of these, if you're like, hey, this is what we want to watch here, or whatever, if there's anything that sticks out, pause me, or I'll just kind of roll through it. There's a lot of racing. Hopefully Mother Nature cooperates. Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour, Princeton, Ogilvie, Granite City Motor Park. Midwest Mods are racing for 1,000 to win Thursday night at the Grand Rapids Speedway. We're picking that one.
Can you talk
Fastlane.
about who you picked?
I don't. I got mine on my computer. I could open it up or whatever. But,
Guys.
I mean, if you want to mention who you pick, I got Tyler Vernon at Grand Rapids. I do know that.
Okay.
I don't. He's
I
been good.
believe I took at Grand Rapids.
Fastlane Super Stocks. They're running at. So this is the first time Fastlane Super Stocks are kind of going west this year. KRA Speedway in Wilmer, Fiesta City Speedway, Montevideo, Viking Speedway, the High Flying Half Mile at Alexandria, Granite City Motor Park on Sunday. So a 4-night swing. They've been to Granite several times, but that'll be their first swing to 3 of those tracks. Who did you say you have in Rapids?
I think I have Swerve and Mervin.
Swerve and Mervin.
I took Mervin.
Okay. Tri-State late models are racing Friday at the Murray County Speedway, Slayton, Minnesota. The NLRA late models are racing I-94 Friday, Devils Lake Saturday, Fargo at the Red River Valley Speedway Sunday. Now keep in mind, and I added this to the spreadsheet, which will get sent out probably tomorrow by this time, but they have makeup features as well. We had already made the pick for the I-94 race a couple weeks back, the Dick Johannick race. So we maintain those picks because the lineups are already set. So there's a double header at I-94. Lucas Oil Dirt late models. They have the Oprah Winfrey program there Thursday and Friday, so we're not picking them races, but we are picking the Firecracker 100 Saturday at Lernerville. Hell Tour, we picked Wilmot, Davenport, rained out tonight at Quincy, Lee County Speedway, Donaldson, Iowa, Lincoln on Sunday, and then of course Saturday is Hell Tour and World of Outlaw late models co-sanctioned. I-55, that's Peevely, Missouri. Bert, we're picking one in your neck of the woods, the Diamond 47 for the Dirt Kings at 141. That's on Saturday. And then, of course, the USMTS Modifieds Tuesday at Casino last night. Last night I had Rodney Sanders, who got 1 point. He got 1 point. I had Tyler Peterson, because I'm not like you, Changa. I don't fucking hate Tyler Peterson. I happen to like Tyler Peterson. So I picked him last night. He won the heat, hurt the motor, didn't get start feature. But he did win his heat. I think he was going to be in contention. Tonight, Off-Road Speedway, Friday, Saturday, Route 66 Speedway in Amarillo, Texas. All right, bold predictions. Not a lot off the board this week, of course, with the rain, right? Bert, you did have one come off the board. You said it was going to be an all cheesehead podium at 141 for the Clash at the Creek. Ethan Braxma said no, sir.
I will say though that I also said that it was going to be Wisconsin ass kicking, and it was because the top 5 were not from Wisconsin.
Fucking yeah, first loser, second loser, third loser. Yeah. Was there nobody in the top 5 from Wisconsin?
No, because it was Ethan Braxma from Iowa, Jordan Grabowski from Nebraska, Cody Laney from California, Tom Berry Jr. from Iowa, and then Trip Garland from Colorado.
All right. That's the way it should be. You're a Wisconsin guy. You should be used to that being a Packer. All right. Fair enough. Okay. All right. So I did not have anything come off the board. However, I did have a Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour prediction, and that race got postponed. So that might come into play a little bit down the road. Uper had a couple come off the board. He said Turbo Tyler Erb would have 2 or more wins on the Hell Tour this week. 50% on the podium. No, not close. But he did say Shane Sabraski would win 25% or more of the features that he started. He raced 3 races. He won 2. He won mods and supers at Rapids, and then he did not win in the late models. But so that was 66%. So we got that one right. Changa, you had 2 come off the board as well. You said a high limit driver would win at Knoxville this last weekend with the World of Outlaws. David Gravel, Corey Day. So that did not happen.
Corey Date's not a, well, I mean, he's kind of a high limit guy. He was last year.
He was last year. He's not this year. He's a NASCAR guy now. He's not a high limit guy. Yeah. And then you said on the Hell Tour there'd be 3 or more winners this week on the Hell Tour. Billy Moyer, Jason Fager won 2 of them. Drake Troutman got a win, and Brian Shirley. So you got that one correct. Yes.
Last week, the freaking scorekeeper cheated me out of a point. Did you get that one back into my statistics?
I don't know if you did. You reached out to him. You talked to him. So
I sent the whole clip from the podcast where I made
yes.
the question to you and him, and he just
Yes.
said, "What are you guys talking about?" Plain as day, I got it right, but he was like, "What are you talking about?"
His glasses are all fogged up from all the snow up there in the UP, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, no, he cheated me out of the class.
He did get that added. That's why you're at 11 correct now. So you got 11. So we keep track of correct predictions and correct percentage. You have 11 correct. Uper has 7. Bert has 6. I have 5. Correct percentage, you have 40.7. Bert's at 28.6, and then me and Uper are at 25%. So you're leading the way. Don't worry about it. You're good. He got you covered. He added it in. All right. So settle down, relax. All right. All right. This week's predictions to end the show. 3 laps around the track, racing related predictions. We'll go Bert. We'll go Changa. We'll go. I got Uper's predictions here, and then I'll finish off with my own. So Bert, your first prediction.
I'll go World of Outlaw sprint cars, and more than 50% of the podium positions will be non-World of Outlaw drivers. And when I say outlaw driver, driver had to have raced in every outlaw race up until this weekend.
Repeat that one more time.
More than 50% of the podium positions will be non-World of Outlaw drivers.
At Huset's?
Yes.
You literally sniped verbatim Uper's first prediction. And I told Uper, send me 4. So if you get sniped, and he sent me 3, so he will just go ahead and we'll cross this one off. We'll cross that one off because you sniped him. All right. Changa.
Well, my first bold prediction is Changa is going to get a bottom 5 in our draft this week.
Man, I hope you're right. Bottom 5 in the draft for Changa this week at Huset's. Okay. Okay. All right. Uper's new first prediction. Because of running the Hell Tour, the combination of Drake Troutman, Tyler Erb, Brian Shirley. I don't really think he understands what he did here. So because of running the Hell Tour, those 3 drivers will all have a better combined average than Bobby Pierce, Nick Hoffman, and Tim McCready on Friday and Saturday.
Oh yeah, because that's a co-sanctioned deal. That's Hell Tour and Woo.
Is he fucking drunk?
I'm drunk.
Yeah, how on earth, because of running the Hell Tour, Troutman, Turbo, and Shirley are going to have better combined average than Pierce, Hoffman, and T-Mac on Friday and Saturday?
Because they don't have any rust to shake off.
Right.
Well, that could be it, but yeah, that would be his reasoning.
That is bold, if nothing else.
That is bold. All right, fair enough. Wow. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Has he not seen Turbo race lately? I'm just asking for a friend. Okay. Or Brian Shirley's awesome, terrible luck that he's had lately, right?
Here.
All right. I'm going to go Fast Lane Super Stock Series. It's a 4-night swing this week. Okay. Nobody will win more than 2. And if all 4 nights get in, okay, so nobody's going to win more than 2. Okay.
Yep.
And if they get all 4 in, there will be 3 winners minimum on the week. So so if they obviously, yeah, if they only get 3 races in, it still counts as long as nobody wins more than 2. So nobody will win more than 2 this week is what I have. And if they get all 4 in, 3 different winners in the 4 nights. All right.
Bernowski just went to 7 wins and 1/4 in his 8 races.
Yeah, he the one that he got 4th and I don't know if he broke something, he was leading and he actually fell back to 4th, which is really rare for him up there. So I'm not sure what happened. All right, Bert, your second prediction.
Since Street Stock Tour got rained out last week, I think it was last week, I'm gonna go back with my Kyle Dykoff prediction. The 3, I'll just say he will finish on the podium in every race that he races in this week, feature event, and get at least 2 wins.
At least 2 wins. Dykoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's undefeated right now on the Street Stock Tour. Okay. All right. Changa, your second one.
I'll go Street Stock Tour racing this weekend as well. And I'm going to say one of the races this weekend will be won by a guy that's not in the top 10 in points in the Street Stock Tour.
So you're predicting that either Brower or Tourville are going to be in attendance is kind of what you're saying.
Or Jimmy Gullickson.
True. Gullickson's quick there.
I mean, off the record, I would
the little Pogo kid's fast at home too.
Off the record, I would say Tourville at home.
Right. Okay. Uper's final prediction here, because he only gets 2 because Bert's mean. Kyle Larson, at least 1 6-figure payday this week in South Dakota at Huset's.
Okay.
So either the 100 grand or the 250, Kyle Larson will win at least one of those. Okay. My second one, NLRA late models. Now, as we know, Dustin Strand on an 8-race tear right now in the 71, right? There's 4 NLRA races this weekend. There's a pair of them at Fergus, and then you have Devil's Lake and you have Fargo. Nobody this week wins more than 2.
I agree.
Nobody wins more than 2. And Strand wins 1 at most.
Oh, okay.
Nobody wins more than 2. Strand wins 1 at most.
Okay.
All right, Bert. Final lap around the track.
All right, I'm gonna go Shawano Speedway. They have a 2,500 to win IMCA stock car special this weekend. So I'm hoping there's some non-regulars there, and I will say a non-Shawano Speedway regular will win the $2,500.
Okay, we should have probably picked that one, Bert. Should have probably picked that one. You should have sent it over. We should have picked that one. All right, Changa, your third and final prediction.
I got a couple here, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I'm gonna say, I don't know. I'm gonna go World Outlaw late models, and I'm gonna say one driver will win every World of Outlaw late model race that happens this weekend.
Well, that's only 2.
You don't like that?
I mean, so essentially you're saying whoever the late model guy is going to double up at Peevely is what you're saying.
And well, if one rains out, there's only going to be one winner.
Yeah, that if one rains out, it don't
I'll
count.
sharpen it up. One guy will win every race.
Both races. It's only 2.
Every race, because if there's one, that's why I said every race, because in case one rains out. and then they're yeah.
One,
That's,
you're telling me that, hey Bert,
well, I
if
was
there's
gonna do a
if there's
parlay.
one, hey Bert, if there's one race, only
Yeah.
one guy's gonna win. That's
Well, that's
pretty
why I was
bold.
gonna do a
Holy shit!
That's why I was gonna do a parlay. You know what?
No wonder you're
Just
no,
scrap it. Just
no
scrap.
wonder you're
Okay.
fucking leading.
So I'm gonna scrap it. I'll go to my other one. Jim Chisholm between tonight and Amarillo will win 2 features this week.
Okay, so Jim Chisholm will get 2 wins out of the 3 final remaining races. Okay.
Yes.
And do you want a rain out provision in there, or is it just he's just
No.
gonna? Okay.
Nope.
All right. So Jim Chisholm
Makes
will
it more
win.
bold, right?
Jim Chisholm will win 2 this week. All right. So Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour at Princeton, only one guy's gonna win.
Yeah. True.
There's only there's only gonna be one winner.
But you gotta pick who it is.
Oh, okay. No, okay. I'm gonna go with a little parlay action here. I'm gonna go Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour. I'm gonna take the Wissota specials that I have that we're picking. We're picking the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour, the Midwest Mods at Rapids, the Fast Lane Supers, and then the NLRA. I'm just gonna go with them 3. I'm not gonna go the late models. Okay. So there's 3, 4, there's 8 races between the Street Stock Tour, Midwest Mods, and the Fast Lane Super Stocks at KRA, Fiesta, Viking, Granite. Okay. Out of those 8 races, at least 4 of those races have a driver that is currently in the top 5 in track points at each of them respective tracks. There'll be at least one of the top 5 point guys on the podium in at least 5 of those races.
5 out of 8. Okay.
5 out of 8. So at least one podium driver that's top 5 in track points at that track in that class
Entering the race.
entering the
Or
race.
after the race.
Yep, correct. Yep. Most of them don't probably have track points for the specials. So essentially, I'm not overly confident in the locals because you take Viking, right? They only got like 10 or 12 supers. You take Fiesta, they got like 6, right? You take KRA, they got like 10 or 12.
Is Crush the top 5 in points?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. Bert,
Because he told me he's gonna win.
yeah, I will be proud of Coach Kraus if he finishes. Yep.
On the lead lap.
On the lead lap. If he finishes, if he, you know what, even if it's not on the lead lap, if Kraus finishes, I'm gonna be proud of him. I am. So that's our predictions for the week, and that is our show for the week. And we are in heat number 2. So I'm gonna get back to watching some racing here at Huset's. As always, I'm Ryan. That is Bert. That is Changa. Thanks for tuning in to the One to Go Show.